Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Sergio Michel. How are you doing today, man?
Doing awesome. Thanks for having me, Keith.
Thanks for being here. First things first, thank you and congratulations on the release of your brand new album, the very ambitious Tropical Depression album, putting out a very lengthy double album in the time of singles and stuff. But before we unpack all that, I just want to make sure you're well, all your musical collaborators, your family, your friends are all well and safe because this is an insane, still a year into this crazy pandemic. And I just want to make sure you're good before we start talking about your career and playing and stuff like that.
Yeah, everything good. Thank God, can't complain about any stuff related to that, and just doing my best to improve and capitalize on the downtime and just be busy in other ways other than touring and live shows, obviously.
Of course, and I'm sure this is probably. I know you have a show coming up right very soon and some other things planned, but for the most part, it's been a year without shows, which I don't know. I don't know about you. It's been breaking my heart. I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's been rough.
Well, what happened with me was we finished the Soulfly tour, the North American tour, the day the pandemic was announced. So the day we finished, everything was cool. The next day, everything was haywire. So the last tour date was in Texas. So I got stranded in Texas for 2 weeks, and when I finally got back to California, everything was shut down. So yeah, it was an interesting. What was it? March of last
Yeah.
year? Yeah.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that was my last show, not my last public appearance or event, but my definite last show. I caught you guys in Brooklyn. So that was the 2 nights in Brooklyn, I think, Soulfly and Toxic Holocaust, right?
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, those Vita shows were really good.
Yeah,
It
they
was
would.
up
Yeah,
back home. I mean, I lived in
yeah.
Brooklyn a little bit after college, but I grew up in New Jersey.
No,
So, I mean, Lemore's, CBGB, just all of Houston Street. That's where I grew up. So, yeah, it was cool.
word. We can talk all about that. I wore my Sinatra shirt just for that today because I knew you were gonna say.
Hey,
I knew you were gonna. This
Hoboken.
is my spoofy Slayer Sinatra shirt. And one of my few claims to fame is that I saw Slayer and Sinatra. I'm old enough that I saw Sinatra and Slayer in the same week, which
In the
is
same
insane.
week. I
Yeah.
thought you said in the same bill.
No, I would. No, that would
Crazy.
be insane. Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Probably never could have happened. But Sinatra, I guess, hated rock and roll, and I grew up
Yeah.
on his music, and he's an incredible singer. But he hated rock music. He hated Elvis. He didn't
Yeah.
like the Beatles very much. Then he covered some of their songs. Complicated guy, but
Complicated. Yeah.
Slayer, no arguments there, no complications at all. But yeah, man, you guys did your thing that night. I remember I saw one of those two sold out shows at St. Vitus, and it was packed. I can't imagine a show right now being. I was literally squished into the corner of the wall, and the whole place was packed. And I think the tour manager for Soulfly is a giant dude. He had to like kind of ram his way through the crowd to make a like part the Red Sea for Father Max to come through.
Yeah.
Because there's no everybody. If you know St. Vitus, it's
Yeah.
little. That's the charm. It's so small.
The long cylinders, like CBs. That's what I told the owner.
Yep.
I told him, hey man, I don't know what you did, but you kind of captured that St. Mark's thing. I don't know what it is, but it feels like home. And he's like, wow, that's awesome. And I'm like, yeah.
Right. Reminds me of CB's, reminds me of I'm gonna date myself badly, Wetlands,
Ah,
SOB. I mean, like that vibe, especially the bathroom and
yeah,
in general, just the cool culture of people.
yeah,
Nobody's really a dickhead there very much. Everybody's cool,
right.
all constant flow of bands. Props to St. Vitus for doing just an amazing job. And luckily they're gonna survive. And one of my concerns, you play out a lot. You have been used to touring and doing showcases and stuff as you pursue your career. And I worry about the future of live music because to me albums are awesome and I love them and I love having music to talk with people about, but I love shows. I'm sure you do too. It's a real head scratcher.
Yeah, I spent most of my formative years, like I said, all over downtown New York City, central New Jersey, Stingrays, all those places. And it was like back then we didn't have the internet, so it was word of mouth or the Aquarian magazine. And you would pick it up at the beginning of the month and see every show. We're going to this one, we're going to that one, we're going to, and like everybody knew. And we found the one guy with a car to take us to Connecticut or something, or go see a show in PA if we had to. So yeah, it's been part of, I guess, my culture to go to concerts. And then when I went out to LA, last 4 years just been headlining the Strip and the Canyon, and it's just been show after show and festivals, and then a tour with Soulfly, which was great. And it's like it just all got canceled, so it's kind of bizarre. I'm taking it rather well. Like I said, I found other things to put energy into, like the production of the album and getting it done finally. But yeah, it is kind of bizarre when I look around and it's like, wait a minute, there's no concert, there's no phone call on Friday. Hey, dude, are you going to the thing? And yeah, it's really bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And again, congratulations on putting this record out. I have said repeatedly, no diss to anyone who just feels like they couldn't put a record out right now. Some people are, divided about what to do. I am appreciative of any new music, and there's still a lot of it. And great to have this record by you. This is your fourth record, I believe. Is that right?
Mhm.
And very again, like I said, a double record, if essentially, which in this day and age, one, most artists don't have enough music to do this many songs, and two, this many really good songs. So like,
Yeah.
what, is this just a, you were planning this anyway, you had this extra time to woodshed and write a lot of tracks? How'd this come about?
Well, I've had these songs, a lot of these songs I've had maybe for 15 years, demoed, and I just um, didn't get around to recording them. But I had the premise for the album for the last 5 years, and you know how things happen. The album got sidetracked here and there. I put out re-releases of other albums, so I focused on that before I finished this. And then this album, I happened to do the drums myself. Using a V drum, but a Simmons version. It sounded very good. It was tight. It was fast, but it was like, well, I need a drummer for these songs. These songs are very organic and they sound very raw. I don't think my usual, like, I'm just gonna jam out on an electric drum set's gonna work because I'm really good at engineering, and I can make a beat drum sound very real. But there's something about a real drummer hitting a snare, for instance, that you just can't recreate. And I kept hearing that in this music. It's very closer to blues and punk. And I was like, you know what, man, I need a real actual drummer. I mean, I'm a guitar player that can play drums if I have to, but I need a real drummer. So one of my pals over here down where I live now is Jason Newsted's drummer for Wood and Steel and the Chop House band. So I told him, hey man, look, I got 19 songs, I got to put them out. Take a listen. If it's something you can do and you want to do, go ahead. And he's like, yeah, man, no problem. So within 2 weeks, we were in the studio. We had two sessions, two full day sessions. He laid down the entire album very quickly, relatively quickly. And then I mastered it and mixed it and packaged it and put it out. But yeah, that's the story of Tropical Depression.
Nice, man. And yeah, he
Yeah.
did a great job, and you of course did a great job. It's interesting, I know Jason's solo work is not, some of it's metal and some of it isn't, and the Chop House band is pretty much, covers and originals and other
Yeah.
things. But there's definitely like a wide array of, subgenres touched on this record.
Thank
Blues,
you.
you mentioned, you're welcome. Blues, punk, I hear a lot of thrash, heavy metal, just generally, shred guitar a little bit, although not like, only that. I think maybe based on your public profile and social media and the fact that you are always seen with a dope guitar in your hands, maybe people assume they're going to get that kind of guitar guy record, and it's definitely song driven, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, it's almost like I had something to prove because I think, live, like you saw at Vetus, I go out of my way to give everybody 11. I turn it to 11. Let's give everybody a unique live experience. All the solos are improvised. I'm giving each audience their own like little gift of something special. But I also know that I'm good at songwriting too. So I said, okay, the attack is great, but how can I find a way to do attack on a record, but have songs, choruses, well-written songs with lengthy, story-driven lyrics. And I think I pulled it off this time. I like it myself. I mean, there's no song I listen to that I say, that's a B side. They're all A side, so they could be A sides on their own like sub record or something. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And so far, that's the same reaction I've been getting. A lot of industry people have heard it. Now that the fans have heard it, but even program directors for radio stations are telling me they're like, there's something about it that I'll put it on repeat all day. I'll listen to all 19 songs on repeat all day, and that's like there's something about it, and I'm like, all right, I did it. I'm like, I pulled it off. Finally, this is like a hit. Yes. So
Nice.
yeah,
I have to agree with you on the hooks and choruses too. There is definitely, I don't want to say pop in a derogatory way because I love pop music. I grew up on pop music. We all kind of did, but there's a real, like, there are songs that rock and they're heavy, but they're catchy. And that's really important that a lot of artists don't have the ability to do that. It's rare that you get to hear that.
yeah, I felt for many years that I proved, like we could rock. Okay, okay, yeah, da, 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 we could kill. It's awesome. But then the next hurdle was, okay, now I gotta write. I gotta be a writer. So how, like I said before, how do I bottle this power but make it palpable in song format? Because a lot of times, a band is all song and no oomph, and you're like, and then they're all power and they're no song, and you're like, but I'm like, how can I get best of both worlds? I think I accomplished it. I'm really happy with the record. It's pretty cool.
Nice. And then there's a really cool theme about the record, the album artwork, and some of the songs is a little bit of a commentary on kind of today. The front cover could be construed as a Karen getting her comeuppance, which would be perfect for these times. We're gonna get rid of all the
Absolutely.
can't get rid of all the Karens, but it would be nice.
But
Talk about what inspired this, because it's definitely interesting and cool and needs to get heard.
okay, yeah. Well, I've always been a metal guy, but I've lived in like South Beach proper or LA proper, and they're very trendy cities. And a lot of things that I've noticed in my time in those metropolises is a lot of first world problems. A lot of people just flipping out over nothing. It's like, man, if you would spend a day in like somebody's shoes who's like, missing income or sick or just going through some hardship, you'd realize that getting your latte 5 minutes late from the little app ordering thing is not that big a deal. But there are people, we live in a privileged country, and that's a great thing. But the side effect of that positivity is that you have a lot of people who are so pampered that to them, getting the wrong parking space, their usual parking space is taken. It's one space over. Oh no, it's the end of the world. Now they're gonna go on Twitter and have a rant. It's like it's ridiculous. So I spent so many years observing this, especially like in the movie business, the music business, the modeling business. I said, man, this is like a cornucopia of material. I mean, people are flipping out over nothing. And I mean, I don't know about yourself, but I haven't had the easiest life. I mean, I've had really bad times when I was a kid and even in my early adulthood, where it was like almost impossible odds to just get to the next day. So to me, it seems very bizarre, those kind of first world problems. So I didn't lampoon it in a negative way, like to make people feel bad about it, but I did bring it to light, and I'm like, look, you can't complain about you know, date night, you didn't get the right, chips for the Super Bowl party. That's not a real problem. But I've seen people flip out over it. So I'm like, yeah, I got to talk something about this. Yeah.
Right on. And hey, thanks for sharing. Not easy to
Well,
talk about. We've all had it hard, and I often think if I'm not having the best of days, I think about my parents. I think about my grandparents and how they didn't have all the conveniences. Like, I don't throw the word miracle around a lot, but it's like a miracle that I could even talk to you today. We live on opposite ends of the country. We have all this wonderful technology. You can make a record at your house, basically almost the same quality as the best studios in some cases that have ever existed. We live in lucky times. We're fortunate. I know that everybody feels like their little problems are very intense, and I'm not, I like that you didn't punch down. That's
yes.
bad. That's not good. You called it out and said, this is a thing we should all be aware of. And
Yeah.
why is this a thing? As opposed to just, it's easy to just dog people and
Right.
pile on. That you didn't do. I don't feel like you did that. So I appreciate you, and I like this concept a lot, and it does fit the songs. And then you did a hilarious music video. So I wanted to talk about having seen the animated version of yourself. How did that feel, and how did that come about?
It was pretty funny. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, but the thing is, the song topic is so serious, but it is pretty funny as a video. So, but that's also my sense of humor. So not only am I observing all these crazy things, But like you said, I'm not punching down. I'm not bashing them. But to me, it's. I'll give you a perfect example. When I went to see the Joker live, the last Joaquin Phoenix movie, from beginning to end, I was laughing, like laugh out loud, like this was the funniest thing I ever saw. And I mean, I was getting looks, like people were thought I was insane, but because I got the joke. So it's almost like the Killing Joke from the old comic book.
Mm.
I get the joke. It's like this guy's life is so miserable, it can't get any worse, but it does. But wait, there's more. So if you really if you think about it, it's just so hilarious. If you have that type of sense of humor, I do. So I got it. Of course it's horrible. He did horrible things happen to people, but I'm not talking about that aspect. I'm just talking about the premise of, man, this guy has a bad enough life, but just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it just keeps getting worse. And it's like he's a slave to this force that he just can't escape his destiny, I guess. And it's kind of funny if you have that sense of humor. So, but that's my sense of humor. So I try to make light of these serious things that are kind of negative, but I don't want to promote the negativity. I want to say, look, this is insane. Let's have a laugh about it, but let's also look at it, see how we can change, especially for the benefit of the listeners. I don't want to put out anything that damages my listeners or promotes them to do bad things, but I do want them not to be bombarded by dribble. And I do love my fans, and I want to give them substance, not say, well, I'm putting this out, buy it because. No, I love my fans. I love meeting people, and I want to benefit them some way. And I guess I'm just using this gift in that way. Yeah, that's all.
Right on, right on. I like that positivity, man. There's so much negative stuff in the world. I love Batman, and I love the Joker movie, and I probably laughed a little too much at that film. One of my former college professors used to say that comedy is tragedy plus time, and if
Yeah,
you understand tragedy and you understand time, that's how we get comedy, and that's how, like certain things, yeah, like
yeah,
comic hilarity. It's not because we're not punching down. We appreciate the suffering. Even he was
yeah.
laughing at some of it. It was so ridiculous to
It
him
was so
that he was
ridiculous.
laughing at. I'm a big Batman fan. Are you looking forward to, just a sidetrack for a second on some Batman stuff? Are you looking forward to this Snyder cut Justice League film? I'm so on it. I'm not sure how I'm
I
going to
have
feel
no
about it.
idea what it even is because I mean, when I first heard about it, I thought it was just a Justice League movie corrected. Like, okay, let's admit we messed up. Let's add some more parts. But then the cyborg actor started acting up, and then it's like you have conflicting views from both sides of the critic aisle. So I don't even know what it is. I mean, is it just a movie retooled? Is it a retelling of the movie? Is it a sequel? I have no idea. I have
It's
no idea.
a little bit of all of those things. I think
A
it's
little bit of
a recut with some new segments of the film that's supposed to tell Snyder's vision of the film. I'm not sure it's going to be much better because same CGI, same effects, probably a few extra shots, probably a few more scenes. I don't know if it's going to help. I love DC films. I love Batman. I didn't love the Wonder Woman film, unfortunately. I really wanted to like it, and I
agreed.
didn't. Compared to the first one, it was not good.
But
And I'm a Marvel guy in general, but I love Batman, and I hope for the best. And I'm rooting for the new Batman film to be good with
Pattinson,
Robert Pattinson. Yeah,
yeah.
I liked him in Tenet, so maybe he'll be great. I don't know.
He actually came to see me. I used to headline the Whiskey Go Go once or twice a month, and he came to see me once with Paris Jackson. It was pretty cool. But he just stared at me, and I was like, okay, there's Edward. Cool. What's up, dude? He was cool.
Nice.
I liked
And
it. But yeah, DC has, but DC beat Marvel in the animated world. Like their animated movies
surely.
can't beat them. You can't beat them. Those Justice League movies are great. Why they can't get into live action, I don't know. The lore is already there. DC is there. The source material is there. You have cartoons to rip off. It just verbatim. You could just make them live action. I don't know why the live action. I guess they're going for something else. And that's always been a gripe for me about video game and anime or comic book movies. It's like, look, the source material is already there. We know what the characters look like. Why are you making Goombas 6 foot tall guys? Or why are you, why are Ken and Ryu like scrawny, not buff karate guys? Why is Guile John Claude Van Damme when you probably have, some Dolph Lundgren? You could have Dolph Lundgren be that. Why? So to me, I'm like that. That's my standard. So I'm never happy with a Double Dragon. None of them except for Mortal Kombat. First Mortal Kombat movie, awesome. Even the TNT TV show, great. But everything else, I don't know, just falls flat. Marvel's done good. Marvel's done great. But outside of Marvel, the MCU, I'm never happy with it. That's just me. I'm just like, it doesn't even look like Lex Luthor. What are you doing? Come on.
Nice. Welcome to our new show. Sergio and Michelle and Keefe host Comic Book Talk.
Let's go. Let's
Just
do.
starting a new thing.
Do you remember Jay and Silent Bob when they
Of
went
course,
to
yeah,
nice
of course.
houses and beat them? Let's go knock on Kevin Smith's door and see what's going
I got you. I love Kevin Smith. I know
on. I
he's.
love him too. I know.
I'm looking forward to his Masters of the Universe when it finally comes out on Netflix. They're rebooting He-Man basically with him writing and Mark Bernardin directing. So that's
Oh,
going to
that's
be
awesome
and
news.
also writing. So
That's
crazy.
awesome news. Then he's gonna do it true to form.
He really is. I know you do a lot of stuff in music. You mentioned acting and modeling. Would you ever consider doing like scores for animated stuff or films? Do you ever get involved in that or interested?
I would love to. There was a phase when I maybe between high school and college where I was like all into J rock and Japanese metal, like Sex Machine Guns, Seikimatsu, Gak, everything, anything Japanese that rock, I was like into it. Hide. So yeah, I can sing Japanese. I can't speak it, but I can fake my way through songs. So I've always wanted, working on an anime soundtrack. The OVAs over there are different than here because here it's like a soundtrack is a soundtrack, right? It's not really a real song, but over there these songs are like on the radio. They're just songs. They're regular old songs. So I think I could do that. Yeah, that would be cool.
Nice. I love Hide, by the way. I'm a huge fan. I got to see him in concert in New York City for Japan Week, and he was fantastic.
I didn't get to see him because I think he died in '96, right? No, '96.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Women, back in the day. But yeah, man. Obviously, again, you put out this huge album. What are you doing to keep yourself busy and occupied and sharp in the meantime while you have a show to prepare for, you have other things going on, but what else are you doing to stay busy?
Well, I'm preparing for this show, doing great interviews with cool guys like Keith. Uh,
Thank you.
And oh well, a good anecdote about the show. If you remember, there was a very big band based out of New York called Fury, New York Fury, right? Well, the drummer, he is Ron Hunter, who is coming out of retirement to play the show with me, and he's bringing his 26-inch two kick drum, four top tom, two floor tom, giant silver 80s pearl drum set to the show. So if you're well, this is happening after the show, so you'll see the videos. He's very loud. It sounds like an earthquake. So we're gonna have fun. And then besides that, just mapping out, trying to see what venues and what states are open for touring. I know the pandemic has shut a lot of things down, but I know there's a lot of venues that are very eager to get back to work. So I'm just coordinating those things. Yeah, I'm not letting it keep me down. I mean, yeah, it's terrible. A lot of us can't go out and work and tour things, I also see it as an opportunity to at least work on things at home or in the studio that I can brush up on. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. Stay busy, stay creative right now. That's the best thing you can do. That's what we've been doing. We've just been busy and being as creative as possible. Yeah, man, just as a final thought, I don't know if you were ever a Metallica fan. Hopefully I'm guessing correctly. Today is the 35th anniversary of Master of Puppets. I think it's an awesome record. It's one of my favorite records. Any affinity for Metallica and that album at all? Because anybody I'm talking to this week, I'm just asking them Metallica questions.
Yeah, yeah, Master was good. I love the riff. When I first heard that riff, it was like, wow, what is this? It was like and when you're I started playing guitar in the '90s. So when I was a very, very small boy, like almost an infant, like Van Halen was at their peak with Roth. So the guitar playing, that the lead playing didn't compare to obviously EVH and stuff like that. But the thrash sound, I didn't really come into hearing it until maybe I was 8, 9, 10 years old, when Countdown to Extinction came out and the Black Album. And then all of a sudden, I retroactively kind of just found all this music, like all the previous back catalog of Metallica. And Master of Puppets was one of those songs that really stood out. And then when I started playing guitar shortly after, I remember the one book that I played from cover to cover, note for note, was Kill 'Em All. Like that was my thing. Like I would just do that all day for a good year, just all day, Kill 'Em All, riff with that. And then I also did a lot of Peace Sells But Who's Buying was another play along album for me. Yeah, but Masters definitely, yeah, great song.
Nice work. And I'm glad you mentioned the Black Album, which is 30 years old later this year. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. I remember when it came out. I remember when Master came out also too. So that's really cool. And also a Megadeth fan. And all that makes sense. I figured, those things kind of add up and sound like they went into the stew that helped you form your style, dude.
Yeah.
Sergio Michel, thank you so much for hanging out with Ghost Cult today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for shooting the shit about some comic book stuff. I hope they get this Batman stuff right. And yeah, man, just keep being safe and good luck with your show and keep us posted on what's coming next from you. Tropical Depression's out now. I hope everybody goes and checks it out. It's on all the streaming, everything. And I think you can buy the double CD from your store.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Keith, and thank you, Ghost Cult. See you guys later. Maybe we'll be back to talk about the Batman movie or the Snyder Cut when it comes out.
Right on, right on. I would love to. We'll talk soon. Take care.